And welcome to Matrix Talks on this
Greetings.
July the 21st, 2023.
Yes.
We're going to talk a little bit about, have some fun, talk about how to stay cool mentally and beat the heat. And, well, nobody's online with us. One of those things we do just to have a little bit of fun. We already know how to beat the heat. It's
Yes.
courses up on your screen: Introductory Act for Anxiety and Depression, Couples, Substance Abuse, and PTSD. Well, if you purchase one of those courses and then stay inside in the air conditioning and take it, you'll stay cool.
And you'll get continuing education credit too. It's a twofer.
We're being a little bit tongue in cheek, but still, it would be a way to beat the heat. And you get CEs and you learn, ACT from
Learn a good bit about ACT and Matrix.
right, the way
How we work.
we train. So there you go. And so now and you get access that by clicking the green button below.
Yes.
It says click here and take your ACT training to the ultimate level. CEUs available. So there you go. I have not chatted in. In the lower right, you can chat in and say something like I'll just say hi from Maine. There. And even if it's on recording, you can still chat in.
Yeah. It's nice
You're
to see
listening on
people
recording.
and stuff.
And somewhere you can follow us. And it happens, Phil, because 2 more people followed us between Wednesday and today. So
Oh, nice.
I don't know how they do
So
it now.
they're figuring it out somehow. Okay.
Figuring out how to follow us. So which is way cool. And so how to stay cool mentally. That part,
Yes.
well, and then you would be creative in how to beat the heat. Okay. So how to stay cool mentally. How do you do that, Phil?
Well, there are probably many, many ways to do this. Now, we could talk about how we might go about doing it. Or if there are people on, I'd ask them how they beat the heat. I'd like to know.
Jasmine has showed up, and
perhaps Jasmine will tell us, because she's been in some hot situations. She used to live out there in the super hot areas.
Yep. And then there was somebody else that's shown up. But we're gabbing along, Jasmine, having a good time talking about how to stay cool mentally.
Right. Yeah, because the thing that we know is that when the heat rises, right, irritation rises, and then productivity declines. We were just talking about this, about the doldrums during July and all that, and I think that's probably part of it too.
Yes, all of that stuff. So, oh no, there's more people. Carlos is showing up. Okay. Yeah. Folks, all kidding aside, the way we stay cool mentally is we do the Matrix a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish there was some magic sentence I could give you.
I don't have anything other than, when in doubt, draw the 2 cross lines and Matrix.
And
Matrix yourself is what I
run through it.
That's what I do.
And you just keep that up. And by keeping that up, I swear on a stack of Bibles or Qurans or whatever you want.
Whatever your spiritual guidance book is.
Your thing is, or on a stack of mushrooms or whatever. What is it? I bow to the mycelium that connects all those mushrooms.
Yeah, they've been around. They know the drill.
All of that stuff. You do the Matrix a lot, and you end up being pretty mentally cool.
Yeah.
You just do. And it's not just me, it's Phil, it's my wife, Phil's wife.
Yeah, members of my family.
and several thousand other people. We
And
have
yeah,
worked with,
many other people, right. Yeah,
and it's not that you do it once and you're mentally cool.
yeah,
You just pick up the habit of showing it to people and
yeah.
showing it to yourself, and mental coolness shows up.
Yes, all by
I'm,
itself.
I'm not one for beating around the bush,
No.
trying to make up something that's not. Now, with that said, uh, part of this mental coolness means, and now I'm going to go to science a little bit.
Yeah.
Means you're engaging in parallel processing, meaning you're letting all of your intelligence, all of your memories, all of your five senses, all of your gut feelings.
Yep.
It's all available,
It's all coming on board.
all on board, and it's called parallel processing. And so that means lots of stuff is coming in, and therefore you're going to come up with workable ideas for beating the heat, the actual heat, which might be as simple as buying an act course from us and sitting in the air conditioner, or something else. But you'll figure out how to beat it, and you'll probably won't get too terribly bent out of shape about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you just don't. And and that, my friends, but since we went technical, that's called creativity or derived relational responding, which Phil's now watching a documentary, and I watched one, probably existed in Homo. What was the name of him?
Yeah.
What?
Now, Nelatus.
The latest. That's it. 250,000 years ago, and it appears that they were doing derived relational responding.
Yeah.
So
And they predated us.
way,
Current
way
Yeah. by like hundreds of thousands of years.
Right, by a couple of hundred of thousands
Yeah.
of years. I mean, this is a long time, and there's pretty clear evidence that they were indeed doing the DRR,
Oh, yeah.
which is taking this and putting them together into a third thing that you hadn't thought of before. And
Yep.
so they were doing that. So, but to do that, you need to have the parallel processing going. And to have the parallel processing going, it's not like you can say, wake up, put your feet on the floor and say, I'm doing parallel processing. Obviously,
And
you're doing a little bit of that all the time, and you're also doing serial processing. You say, what is serial? It's called talking and thinking, or thinking and talking, because by definition, one word comes after the other.
You have to have the
Serial means a line. It's in a line. So whereas with the others, like your five senses, well, you're receiving all five senses at once.
all the time.
They're always coming in all at once. That 5 lanes of information coming at you.
5 inputs.
There's proprioception, which is where your limbs are in space.
Mm-hmm.
That's number 6. And there's probably good evidence of even one beyond that.
Oh, yeah.
And once again, all of this, oh, and the subconscious, what's known as the subconscious, which is what I was just talking about. And that's always going. It is. However, acceptance and commitment stuff is built on the fact that we all get hung up on words that serial processing thing. And then we believe that everything needs to be solved with words.
And it hijacks our parallel processing.
Couldn't have been said better. And those words that we're going, oh, I got to be learned. I've got to use words. I've got to logically work this out with words. Bill used the word hijacks. Hijacks your parallel process. And it's Kahneman, in his book, Thinking Fast and Slow, think words are the slow.
Yep.
Slow way of doing things. So, and the way you get the parallel is just keep doing the matrix. There's other ways to do it, but that's a really handy way to do it. Easy and pretty darn painful.
Easy. You can do it anywhere, anytime.
You can doodle it.
Yeah. You doodle it, think in your head.
Or you could get a stone tool out. And
oh, yeah. Carve something out on the dirt, right?
Or get your pocket knife out and carve it into the desktop.
There you go.
Probably better not do that. That's vandalism, right?
Well, unless it's your desktop, then go right ahead.
Remember the old school desk?
Oh man, I carved mine up back in the day. It was you had to put something on there to kind of mark that you were there.
Now, isn't that what the cave people were doing?
Yeah, I think that they were doing the same thing.
Which, by the way, is a form of derived relational responding.
Yeah, where did they come up with that?
Because you're thinking about who will come after you.
Yeah.
And that's a derived response. So, pretty cool stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about it that way. So school children writing and carving into their desks are like Egyptian hieroglyphics.
Oh, well, they're doing the same thing the Naledi did in the documentary, right?
In the documentary, yes. Same thing. How cool. Which tells us that humans haven't changed a lot in about 300,000.
I don't think so.
Well, I mean, the Naledi, is that it? They're not human.
No.
But they were doing that with what apparently is 1/3 our brain size.
Yes. So it had little to do with the size of their brain.
No. It wasn't that. It was something else going on. Interesting. Huh? Okay, back to it. So that's how you beat the heat.
Yep.
And you also, you just get used to it. Even though this is, I guess this comes from the news that this is the hottest summer in the world.
So they keep telling us. It's ever been recorded.
It's ever been recorded. I mean, obviously there was probably millions of years ago there was hotter days, but since
that's what I keep thinking. There had to be some volcano stuff going on way back when that temperature got a little, right?
But in recorded history, this is the hottest.
We got them beat.
So then you get into climate change and what can you do for climate change?
Yep.
That kind of stuff. So, once again, parallel processing. Do your thing. Do the matrix. That's been said before, hasn't it? Let's do the matrix.
Yeah, I might even said that myself a time or two. People ask me what they should do, and I would say, I don't know. I just do the matrix.
That's another thing. We had a consulting call this morning.
Right.
A super nice guy from Egypt was there. And we got to talking about processing stuff. And
right.
Doing this and that. And so much. And also, he said stuff, and also the documentary. The name of the documentary, folks, is Unknown
Cave of Bones.
Cave of Bones. That's what we're referring to.
On Netflix.
It's on Netflix. But it refers to another is that so much of our processing is It's unconscious. It's
Yeah.
just not available for words. So when you say unconscious, what you're saying is that it's outside the realm of words.
Yeah.
But I mean, you need to go no further than even in the spoken word. What does it feel? 70 to 80% of the meaning is conveyed through tone of voice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. How you paraverbal communication, how you say what you say.
Yep. And that's literally with words. And then you pile on top of that all the extra stuff, the
Right.
hand gestures,
Yes.
all the things that you can communicate without saying a word.
All your nonverbals.
Total nonverbals. Don't even say a word. Don't even use a tone of voice.
Yes.
This is simply use body language in your hands and such. So, and to get into contact with that,
Yep.
there's lots of ways. And I think a lot of the meditative practices that you hear about
Yeah.
is toward getting to that state. We do the matrix. It's easy. It's easy for other people. And one we say we do it for ourselves and we show it to other people.
Yeah. And that leads to the second thing, which is doing it and share another way to stay mentally cool, doing it and sharing it with somebody else.
That's
Either by
cool.
showing it to them or maybe doing it with them, it's a real simple thing to do.
It's a pro-social thing to do.
Very pro-social. And back to though, not to get back on this documentary, but you're making me think that they theorize that this particular group of, before human, right before our what we know as human, they didn't have language. So they were doing all this with their nonverbals
Nonverbal.
and maybe their paraverbals. And what they were doing is they were coming together as a community. They were like they couldn't do this stuff by themselves, they theorized.
Absolutely. What if you can, if you have Netflix folks, watch the documentary. What they were doing with their dead bodies literally could not be done alone.
Yeah, and we won't tell you what they were doing. Watch the documentary. It's
Watch the
fascinating.
documentary, but what that shows is they had to come together as a community,
Right.
and do this together with it, and therefore then we go to the pro-social shared purpose.
Yeah,
They
that's
had-
what I was going to say, and that meant that they had a shared purpose.
Yep. So interesting stuff. So they were running a shared purpose, and 300,000 years later,
And
we're running a shared
we're
purpose.
still running the same experiment.
And so you stay cool by joining in and trying to help out.
being part of the herd.
I saw a scientist had come up with a super white paint. It
Ooh.
reflects
Wow.
essentially 100% of, or 98% of the sunlight back. Well, so if you paint all the rooftops and lots of places with the
Yeah.
super white paint, it'll cool the earth.
Oh,
We might all be getting together to have a really, 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 really big painting party.
okay. I get my brush out. I could get my brush out on that.
I mean, like
Yeah.
global scale painting party.
Imagine all of this flat top as white. What that might do, right?
Well, that's what they're talking about.
Yeah.
It soaks up
Parking lots, roadways, right?
So transform that into super reflective white,
Yeah,
and it could work.
I like it.
So we're probably going to have to come together and do something like that.
That's what it's going to come down to.
Pro-social,
Some type of shared purpose.
and it's shared purpose. Back to that, and you get cool about it.
Yeah.
Get cool about it. So we're not gonna. We don't like to belabor things. Do the matrix.
Yeah.
Fix it. Or no. I mean, if you don't want to, please
You
don't.
don't have to. You could do it your own way. That's the way we do it.
Right. But the way we and people we hang with is we just do it, and just I guess the space to get into is that all of these extra words are not necessary.
Yeah. And
And as a matter of fact, I have found that all the extra words can lead to a lot of trouble.
oh yeah. Well, especially when it comes to staying cool mentally.
Oh my God. Oh, good point, Phil. Yeah.
Yeah.
The more words you either say internally or say
Yeah.
out, the higher you increase the odds that
Yeah. You're increasing the ambient temperature of whatever's going on.
that you're going to increase the heat.
And your own internal temperature.
Your temperature and
Yeah.
around.
And then you're going to spread it around to the people that are around you.
And yeah. So words are like, oh, they're gasoline. There we go.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. They're adding fuel.
The simile is gasoline. Words
Yeah.
are gasoline.
I like it.
And
So how to stay cool mentally. Don't add more gas to the situation.
so, yeah, no. So here, where is this coming up? Okay, so gently go through the matrix, use as few words as possible, help out your fellow persons.
Get some noticing going. Get some noticing going.
Don't beat the heat.
Yep.
Best you can. I mean, if you're homeless and having to be out in the heat, that's a bummer.
That's yeah.
But you're probably not listening to this crowdcast either.
No.
Poor folks.
Yep.
Don't do that. So how to stay cool mentally. I already knew long before when it was Phil's wife who came up with this title.
Yeah, right.
And I knew the answer really quick.
Right.
I knew the matrix.
Well, that's pretty much we don't ask the question unless we already have a way to go about dealing with it.
And then,
Usually, not all the time, but most of the time.
and we're loosey goosey enough to say if you have some other way, you go right ahead. That's fine.
Yep.
Take it or leave it. But we do that.
Yeah. And even if you do that, I think it'd be a fair bet that it would be involve somebody that's important to you, perhaps a shared purpose, and some combination of relief moves and satisfaction moves, or whatever you decide to pull off on your own.
Well, I think there's 100% chance of that.
There you go.
No, I know. Well, all of it. If you're with somebody else, you have a shared purpose.
Yeah.
Period. And you're both important to each other. It's because you're there together. You might
Whatever it is you're doing together.
You might say, "I hate this other person."
Yeah.
Okay, but they're there with you, so
We're here to get through this situation here together.
Yep. You definitely got yucky stuff.
Yep.
You definitely got relief moves.
Oh,
You definitely got.
Yeah.
Yep. All of that's there. Absolutely. So now you just run through it.
Yep.
Keep doing it. Do it many, many times. We're going to do a show now that anybody that has lasted this long. We're going to do one next week, probably next Wednesday, and we're going to call this active mindfulness.
Yes.
Yep. We're going to call that. We're going to do a crowdcast that says active mindfulness. Why? Because then that title will be out on the internet and people might get interest in our few words about active mindfulness.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to do it in a few words, not a whole bunch.
Right.
Because most people, well, it's not their fault. They have to write a book about mindfulness.
Yeah.
And that requires 70 to 100,000 words.
Publishing requires lots of words when you're writing a book.
And it just kills it. So we're doing crowdcasts. So we're going to do a brief active mindfulness crowdcast.
Yes.
Probably next Wednesday. Because we won't be here next Monday.
Not Monday, right?
I got a summertime
Do.
event to go to. One of them are family gatherings that occurs in the summertime. And this is the summer doldrums. Absolutely, we know that. Because in part because of the heat. So everybody stay cool. But if you stay cool, do the matrix, stay cool. You don't have to do Alm or anything.
Nope. No navel gazing.
No navel.
Don't have to burn any incense.
No incense, no drugs, no nothing.
Get up and go to a special place. None of that stuff.
You don't have to go sit on a rock or sit on a pillow or sit on the wood floor. None of that.
Nope.
Just roll through the matrix. Very cool. Oh well. Anything else to add, Phil?
No, we've done it. I think we showed up to talk about how to stay cool, beat the heat. Talked about how we do it.
And that's all we can talk about.
And that's it.
Well, no, we could talk about telling other people how to do it, but
well, yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's necessary right now. Let's put it.
I could say we could say go sit on a block of ice.
Yeah, you can try that. I don't think you'll be able to do that for long, but you could try.
You're going to get one cold butt. But
yeah. You'll get cool, that's for sure.
Back in the old days, you used to be able to buy those blocks of ice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And they used to deliver it to your refrigerators.
You would get and you put it in your refrigerator. Yeah.
The Iceman cometh, right?
I have an old antique ice box out on my porch that was my grandmother's.
And ice guy came every couple of days.
Come and deliver the ice. Yep.
And that's something. Well, see, we've come a little way since then.
Yeah.
Anyway, folks, take it easy. Do the matrix. Stay mentally cool. We're not kidding about it. Just keep doing it.
Yeah. No, we are serious about that.
And the cool mentality will show up.
Yeah. The heat will still be there, but you'll be cool on the inside, or cooler.
Cool. You will be. Okay.
All right.
Let's go do summer.
I think so.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Take care. Bye-bye.